Hello everyone, my name is Damian Krasinski, the owner and operator of DK Film Studios, and today we've got another development log to get on into. Whoop whoop! So, before we get on to the thick of things, if you're probably wondering, why did you skip last week and you're doing one this week? So, what happened was, last Thursday, me recording this, I got hit with something. I don't know what, my stomach hated me. I had to leave work early, and let me just tell you, my stomach was not happy with me, and stuff came up. I'm gonna leave it there. But I'm like, yeah, I was like, I'm done. I'm not touching this development log. I'm not doing this. I do not feel I have the energy to do this. So I sat there and pretty much spent Thursday recovering, suffering, Friday recovering, and I'm like, I'm not touching the dev log today. I just want to recover, and I said I didn't do anything on Saturday because I wanted to also just make sure I was fully recovered, I was doing good, and went from there. Like, it was so bad, like, I went to bed at, like, 10 on Thursday, and I woke up at 10:30 Friday morning. Like, it was crazy. So, I'm doing better, obviously. So, what this devlog is going to be doing is we're going to be taking everything that happened the 2 weeks leading up to when I was out, sick, to cover those two things. Next week's we'll be covering these 2 weeks that have the 2 weeks that were supposed to be happening, and we'll be going from there, and then we'll be back on track essentially. So before we get into what to talk about, we've got to look at the development tracker. So I've made some updates on the comedy short film. We'll go over a bit about that soon. Along with we've got some updates on the search, focus part 3, misunderstanding. I'm definitely liking how things are coming along with that film. We'll get into that a bit. And Beans of Bunnytail, which we will be taking a look at that at the release tracker next week in the next devlog, not this devlog. Just because at the time I wrote this, I didn't have any info about the films, how it was doing, so I figured we'll come back to that. We'll look at it then. We'll have all the data we need because for the first day and the first week of it. It's looking like it's doing pretty good, but we'll talk about that next week, of course, in more depth. So, as mentioned, I have made some progress in pre-development. I have made some progress on the comedy short film. I've begun to flesh out the idea, so what I like to do is I like to sit down and create like this free flow document where I basically sit down and I take the story, just take what's in my head and just start writing it out and start, writing things out, typing it all up, figuring out what I want to do in this film, so I can then start putting the puzzle pieces together. It still needs some work. I'm not at the point where I can start putting the beach together with this. I do have some more writing. I do need to flesh some things out, figure out some more of the events, all that jazz, the characters. But I have the basic premise. I know what I'm going to do with this, and I think it's going to be cool. What I originally had before kind of like isn't happening, which is whatever, it's fine, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, I'm happy with how it looks, how it's coming together so far. I need to flesh out like more of the story and how each event leads into the other, along with the order that they're all in. I have an idea on how I wanted to end, how I kind of wanted to maybe start, but I gotta fill in the gaps, get from A to B, bada bing, bada boom. I do like this idea. It's going to tackle some things that are a reality in Hollywood for people who are women and maybe autistic. We'll get into that more later, but I kind of want to explore that a bit, I think. And, yeah, it would be kind of fun to do. But we'll see, of course. We'll see how we handle this. So, now that we've gone over that, on to, in development, the Talking Neurodivergent documentary series. I have finished figuring out the questions for the doc, mainly with autism and ADHD. I plan to add more regarding the other neurodivergences as time goes on. If I have to, I will sit down and write out more questions. I'm just going to have to live with that. There's probably going to be just interviews that I do that I'm like, okay, I probably could have asked this, I probably should have asked that, and go from there. It is what it is. I can't really do much about it. I now need to start reaching out to folks, which I'm definitely going to try this weekend to do. I know I've got some friends who are interested in it. I've got, so I'm going to have to reach out to them. I know one of them's got OCD. I'm going to have to add that into a whole thing. I believe it was OCD. But, like, I've got people I know who can help, who I can use to help just get this started. I'll just have to record them, edit, and start. Once I get them recorded, I can start editing them. One of them I'm not going to announce when I go to start making it. There's a special reason why I'm not going to get into that yet, but I do want to have that one as in reserves because depending on what happens, I'll try a couple different ways to film it, but we'll see, But yeah, there's not really much more to go into this, but that's it for the doc series. We're going to be getting ready to start. Once I start reaching out to people, I'll be basically making each episode be in pre-production until I get to I'll do episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and so on and so forth as we go, and I'll announce each one as we enter pre-production and all that jazz. I think it'd be kind of good to do. That way, at least you know what episode we're on and where each episode's at, because this isn't going to be like a weekly thing. This is going to be like a once when I need something else in the timeline in the lineup. So yeah, the goal for this is to kind of get as much as I can filmed, put in reserves, and then move on to the next and slowly release them as I go. That's the plan, and I think that's going to work nicely. So that's it for everything in development. On to pre-production. Before we get it with the search. So, we'll take a quick look at things with the timeline. So, our casting call is still ongoing. We got some update. We're going to discuss a bit more about that. Location scouting in progress. The script is being worked on. I've got some updates regarding Amber's side of things in a bit. I'll discuss. Crew, I kind of need to reach out to some folks, but we will at some point. We started gathering stuff for props and all that. Have been for a while. I've reached out to a friend of mine. He's gotten some updates on how that thing's all coming along. We're going from there. But yeah, things are slowly coming along, I will say, which is nice. I don't see us really needing to do much in the way of location scouting. I might actually, I kind of want to visit some of the stuff in Maryland, but I'm not able to. I have a car, but I'm learning how to drive at the moment because I figured it'd be good to learn know how to, especially given that I drive to and from work every day. Well, Uber, but would have to drive and it'd be cheaper. But yeah, we're making progress on this. I'm definitely happy with this. We'll keep you all posted with this. So, but before we get into that, let's go over. Let's look at what we have to discuss regarding this. So, I have made changes to the shooting schedule to accommodate the fact that we will have 2 cameras on set. I've made note which shot each camera can be used for, and noted the ones that can be done at the same time, which will be helpful in the film. So what I've done is just so I can explain this a bit better. So in the film we have a couple of different shots. I'm looking at day 1, scene 4. We've got 2 shots, one of Johnny and Helena, and they're talking. One is going to be on Johnny, one camera's going to be on Johnny, one's going to be on Helena, and we're going to cut and basically film them at the same time, go from there so that way we know who is talking with who and all that wonderfulness. So that way when I'm looking at it, we're like, okay, we're on this scene now, okay, we need to put this character here, we need to put this character here, we're going to need to put camera here, looking at camera, the one camera looking at them, the other looking at the other, and going from there, essentially, which I think will be very helpful given our timeline, given how things are happening, how we're doing things with the film. Which I'm fine with. I'm perfectly fine with, and I do like how this is going to look, I feel like. This will definitely help, I feel like, in the long run. Hopefully this is making any sense. But, basically, I've set it up so I can, look at it, and it's, I've kind of color-coded the shots that need to be together. Each pair being a separate color, just so I can look and go, okay, these 2, next, these 2, okay. Just so that way, I'm not looking at this and be like, okay, realizing, oh shoot, we should be using 2 cameras for this. I can go, okay, we need to do 2 cameras for this, okay. Which is fine. I do think this is going to work nicely. This will make our lives easier, I feel like, when it comes to filming. We'll have to see, of course. But I do like how this is going to come together. I definitely think this will work. I'll have to modify it probably as we go forward, but that's perfectly fine. I've made it so that each day is 12 hours in length, which I think is perfectly doable. those will likely be shorter, given the fact that there are scenes that there are going to be shots that are going to be done at the same time. So we're going to be doing 2 of them at the same time, which will be great. Help cut down on time. I've also trimmed meal time to like 30 minutes, 7 hour. I just gave us a little extra more time to film, which is fine. I feel like we just need to eat, chat a bit, and then we can get to work and go from there. Amber is attempting to look over the script. Will attempt to this weekend. She's been very busy right now. It's probably going to be very busy throughout the rest of the year. She doesn't have much time to do things other than, for her own projects. I mean, there's stuff that we are working on that are going to be done for the studio later down the line that she hasn't had time to get to, or stuff that she's been working on that she's been meaning to get to. The book that this short is taking place in is kind of on the back burner a bit, which sucks, but it is what it is at the moment. There's not much I can do to help with that. I mean, I'm trying to offer some help with that, but hey. But yeah, we're making it work. We're making this work somehow, and I know she's gonna get to it eventually. Like I said, she's gonna attempt to do it this weekend, so she's doing her thing. The hunt for actors is still ongoing. Should be done by the end of this month. We've come up with a plan for Taurus if we don't find him, and this will work. We're gonna basically keep the hunt going until like August, and if we don't get anybody, we're gonna basically reach out to the previous actor and go from there. Because he did say he was interested. He just, we'll have some people on the back burner in case we need them. Like there's been a couple actors I'm like, okay, this could work for Taurus. So we'll give them a shot, see how they feel, and go from there. Well, we have him in. We are gonna have him. I will say, we are definitely gonna have him in this film one way or another. While yes, he isn't that important to the film. He's only in like 2 scenes. Doesn't really say much. He is important to the book series as a whole. So we are going to do what we can to have him in it. But yeah, that's basically it for the search. We're making good progress on this. I feel like we're making good time. I think we're definitely gonna be ready to go by the end of the year. By October, I definitely think it. Yeah, definitely looking forward to moving forward with this film. So, before we continue moving onwards, if you are enjoying this video, please hit the comment. Please comment down below what film you're actually interested in seeing. If you have seen the development tracker, what films are you interested in seeing that we're making that are in the pipeline? And subscribe for more so you don't miss out on more of these devlogs, but also the films that we're working on, so you get to see them when they premiere. Now, on to production. Focus Part 3. I have grabbed footage of the cherry blossoms. I feel like they'll be very useful. I was also able to grab some other footage from around DC as well, which I think will be very useful, which will be of use. I basically got like some statues, some like art pieces, some banners. With some banners that were poking around that I caught my interest, and I want to use those. Grabbed whatever I could, really, while I was in DC. I'm definitely going to take another trip. I'm definitely going to head out somewhere else soon. Grab some other footage. Maybe not the next 2 weeks. Well, next weekend, the week today you're watching this, this coming weekend, I'm going to be meeting with some friends and going at a lake. At least it seems like it. If we do that, I will grab some footage from there as well. I think it's the lake we filmed a scene for Misunderstanding too, which will definitely be a bit of a nostalgia trip for me. A bit of a trip down memory lane. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna check there out, grab some footage from there. Do what I can, really get as much footage as I can for this film, and just make it the best it can be. I guess once that's done, we're gonna start editing it all together and combining this into a film that I think will be good. Just hope it will. We'll have to see, of course. In post-production, now, we have Misunderstanding. I plan to get started on the fine coloring, well, the week I was recording this. The week you'll be watching it was last week. I do need to render out the film. I planned to, but I didn't. I was recovering, and I didn't really want to take away my have my computer be used up as a rendering thing. I'll have to do that this weekend, though. But I will look at it just to see how it looks. Because I've been mainly looking at stills, and I want to see how things look, how the coloring looks when everyone's in motion. My laptop cannot handle raw 6K footage in the editor. It can handle it when it's like rendered and all that jazz, but not when it's straight up in the editor. It struggles. So, especially with all the coloring about it, it is not going to like it. It is not going to make it easy for me to watch this, and I want to be able to watch this smoothly, being able to see exactly everything that's going on, and go from there. That's going to help me out a lot, and I'm going to make sure everything looks good for the film before I move forward, and go from there. I have yet to hear back from the VFX artist. I'm thinking of just letting him know what I've done, and going from there, to be honest. It'd be nice to tell him in a meeting, but at the moment, I just gotta get it out there. I just gotta tell him that this is what I've been doing, so he knows, because it just feels weird that I'm making this great progress on it, and I don't want to feel like he's holding me up. So it's like, I want to be able to just say, look, here's what I've been doing, here's where I'm at with things, and go from there. But, yeah, no, I just need to get this film out. I just need to get that dealt with, and I'll tell him and go from there. I hope there's no hard feelings. Because I do want to work with him again. He is pretty good at just the communication. It takes a while to hear back from him. But I do like his work. So I'm definitely looking to continue working with him in the future. Last but not least, in released, we have Beans a Bunny Tail. The film is finally out. We're going to look over how it's doing on its first day and the first week out in the next devlog. I'll have all the data for that by then. So since we're not going to have a director's commentary, I'm going to quickly I kind of want to go over a couple of things that were in this director's commentary that I had, just so you guys know my thoughts on it, because I feel like it'd be kind of good to do, just so you guys are aware of how I feel of what's been done with this film, and so you have some more info regarding it. So I basically got this idea for this documentary on Beans' last day with us. The last thing I told him was that I was going to make a documentary about him, and I'm going to make him look good. I feel like I've accomplished that with this film. I miss the little guy every day. I miss him. I still miss him. He was a joy. So, my original plan with this film was I was going to interview my parents, my sister in different rooms. So there's some visual differences between the shots. But on the day of filming, I ended up just sticking in my mom's office for all three. The framing stayed the same for all that. I'm quite happy with the framing. The shot, if I had to do this again, I'd probably try to do different rooms. I feel like that would just make things look a little bit, that added a little bit of visual difference to that. So I ended up using the lav mics I bought originally for the Surge, but used it for this film, and I'm so glad I did. I probably mentioned this in a devlog, but still, these mics were not the best quality. There is a good reason why those were cheap. There's a good reason why some things are cheap, and this was no exception. I'm not gonna lie, this was no exception. The mics would get all staticky if someone moved, and would cut out for a couple seconds if it got really bad. I'm glad I had the boom mic. I am so glad I had that. That came in clutch with the audio for the film. That's what I used. I am planning on getting proper lav mics so I can grab the audio needed in upcoming projects like The Search and Talking Neurodivergence. Let me just say that all over again. Talking Neurodivergence. But like, yeah, that is definitely something I plan to do moving forward. Throughout the film, the order of the character of the people stayed mostly the same. There are a couple of instances where I don't show my sister, given that her answers were similar to a previous one. I also did change up the order near the end because of how serious my mother's answer was. I felt like it would be good to reverse the order of who appears, to giving us a nice transition into the more downer part of the film. I think it came out pretty well, to be honest. And I didn't really do much in the way of sound. I felt like the music would make things a bit distracting, and only added the track that's at the end of the film as a nice segue into the credits and have something playing during the credits. I also had to cut the audio to some of the videos of Beans in the film because they had copyrighted material in it as well. Like, I think one of them had a football game going on in the background, audio-wise, and I know the NFL would get on my ass about that, so had to cut that. I also didn't really do much in the way of coloring for the film. I mainly just adjusted the gain so we wouldn't have that that gray, dull color of the raw footage. I didn't want to go crazy with this film, feeling that it would be good to do. If I did, it would be distracting from what was being said by my parents and my sister. I did raise up the brightness on a couple of the pictures and videos of beans, but nothing too crazy. That's basically kind of what I wanted to discuss regarding this film and my thoughts and feelings about it and what we had to do. So if you're curious, you know, hey, yeah, that's what we did. If you have not seen the film, go check it out. I highly recommend it. And I'm really happy with how this film came together. I'm definitely quite proud of it. I'll try to remember to put it up in the cards. It's one of these corners. I'll probably tell you, hey, it's right here. And there. But, yeah, that's basically it. Hope you guys enjoyed this development log. I enjoy making these for you guys. Don't worry, next week we'll get back into the swing of things. And we'll go from there. I can't wait for you all to see what's coming down the pipeline. And yeah, this is so before we sign off, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. That's gonna help us out on the algorithm. Turn on notifications as well so you don't miss an upload. And yeah, this is Damien from DK Film Studios signing off, and I'll see you all in the next one.